Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. We'll call to order the March 18th, 2025 meeting of the Auburn Common Council. We'll begin with a moment of silent meditation or reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Move on to roll call. Councilman Fincham is ill. Councilman Braun?
Here.
Councilman Webb?
Here.
Councilwoman DeWitt?
Here.
Councilman Williams?
Here.
Councilman Bundy?
Here.
Councilwoman Prosser? Council, in front of you, you have the meeting minutes from the March 4th regular meeting.
Move to approve as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to recognition of visitors, we have Andy Barron, Mike Littlejohn, Haley Prosser, Jim Catterat, Susan Geyer. Welcome. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address the council? Is there anyone in the public that would like to address the council? Hearing none, we'll move on. Deputy Clerk Treasurer.
Filling in for Lori tonight. She is at a conference in Indianapolis, but we do want to present the council with the current vouchers in the dollar amount of $11,578,744.57.
Move to approve as one of the largest ones I've ever seen, but who knows why. So.
Okay. I was like, if the council needs any explanation, it's a water bond that's going through and we are
Yeah, I
moving
saw
it.
that.
So if there's any questions, I can help answer that.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the vouchers. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I believe Councilman Bundy's presenting ordinances and resolutions.
I think we're taking turns, Mayor, so I'm
Okay.
going to start out. Ordinance number 2025-03, an ordinance vacating right-of-way in the city of Auburn, Indiana. For summary, in accordance with the provisions set forth in Indiana Code 36-7-3-12, this ordinance shall vacate a portion of the platted Lay Drive right-of-way located south of Rum Drive. I make a motion, we pass ordinance number 2025-03 on first reading.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pass ordinance 2025-03. Any questions or discussion?
I have a potential amendment to this. In the fourth whereas listed, it states a public hearing was held on April 1st, 2025. I'd like to amend that to say a public hearing will be held on April 1st, 2025.
You want to make that part of your original motion?
Can I just, so this won't be official until the second reading. So it will be after the second reading when it's official. So the official document will be correct as far as the hearing was held on the date.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. Never mind. I'll withdraw my question.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion?
Yes, I do have some questions. So what, maybe Jim could come up and podium, please. And what's the purpose of the vacating? What's going to happen to the property?
Yes, so there's a potential buyer of Lot 1 and Lot 2, which were created when the right-of-way was platted. If the right-of-way were to be built and Lay Drive extended, it would have provided access to Lot 2. One individual is purchasing both Lot 1 and Lot 2. They're going to combine the two lots, and the access would then be able to come off of the existing portion of Lay Drive. So the vacation of Lay Drive right-of-way, which isn't built, would just be transferred back to the property owner that initially dedicated the right-of-way. They plan on building a indoor, climate-controlled storage facility, as well as some outdoor storage as well, or the traditional storage units as well.
So that brings me to my next question. You're going to vacate the right of way. There's no mention of the drainage or the easements that go around that, the old right of way, and how is that going to look when it's all plotted in there?
Right. So they do have, they haven't gone through the formal development plan that shows how it will be developed yet, but they have shared their plans with us. They've shared the plans with the county surveyor's office, which reviews the drainage. They will have a complete drainage system on site that will capture all the storm water from the asphalt of the buildings. It'll be controlled, and it will actually then be directed to the detention pond that is behind the Jerry Junction apartments. There's a large stormwater facility that was built to handle all the runoff from this land and other lots.
So that's going to be like replotted then with that drainage issues that you have now with the existing street?
It will be. So the
Okay.
entire area, the lot 1, lot 2, and the vacated right of way, if it's approved, will be replatted as one entire parcel with the new easements established for utilities and drainage.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Jim? Thank you. If there's no other questions, we have a motion, a second. I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Ordinance 2025-04, an ordinance amending Chapter 49 entitled Auburn Essential Services of the City of Auburn Code of Ordinances. Summary, this ordinance amends and restates Chapter 49 entitled Auburn Essential Services of the City of Auburn Code of Ordinances. I move we pass ordinance 2025-04 on first reading.
Second.
Councilman Webb. Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any questions or discussion? We do have the AES General Manager, Susan Geyer, with us. Okay, hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Sorry, my turn. Ordinance number 2025-05, an ordinance amending chapters 57 entitled Public Purchases of the City of Auburn Code of Ordinances. Summary, this ordinance amends and restates chapter 57 entitled Public Purchases of the City of Auburn Code of Ordinances. I make a motion that we pass ordinance 2025-05 on first reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to pass ordinance 2025-05. Any questions or discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I've kind of been working with the mayor a little bit on this and making some suggestions, and I think I would be more comfortable if we tabled this and sent it to committee, ordinance resolution committee, because I probably got 8 or 10 things I'd like to look at and discuss instead of eating up a bunch of time during the council meeting to do that. So that would be my suggestion to get this kind of where I think it needs to be.
I guess, are you making a motion?
I was hoping maybe somebody would agree with me, but yeah, but I'll make a motion. We table this and send it to Ordinance and Resolution Committee.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion, a second to table. So we need to go back to the first original motion first, or you just,
If they vote to send it, it stays as is.
okay, we have a motion to table ordinance 2025-5. Any questions or discussion on that?
I'll just add that I have my own list of questions that I think between myself and Councilman Webb, we're probably looking at a significant time to discuss our options here.
I'll second that.
All right. I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Table.
Ordinance 2025-06, an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 159 entitled Dangerous Buildings of the City of Auburn Code of Ordinances. I move we pass ordinance 2025-06 on first reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Pass ordinance 2025 dash. Yes, 6. Sorry, I had 2 copies of that in there for some reason. Any questions or discussion?
I'd like to request maybe Jim give us a quick summary on a couple of things that we're looking at different from what I didn't have time to read the old ordinance and digest all this, so just,
I could start then.
I can help.
Zach could
okay,
probably.
whoever's in charge, talk to me.
I can start out. I think the intent is the current code that we've had in place for many, many years can become outdated or not consistent with state statutes. So the principal purpose of this is basically to reference the unsafe building code provisions that are in statute, just refer to that. So if that gets updated and changed, we're always in compliance with it. We set up our own administration and policies to enforce the code, but the basis of the code is the state statute.
And that's the guidance from the state and AIM is a lot of cities have gotten themselves in trouble creating their own provisions of unsafe building. And so what a lot of cities are going to is really just incorporating the state code, and then we're not at risk of going rogue and creating an issue down the road.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm reluctant on this one, to be honest with you. I tried to read the Indiana code, which is not an easy task to begin with. It's 29 sections long. And I just feel like, I mean, if we tie ourselves to that, we're tying ourselves to that for now, what is as it stands right now, and any changes the General Assembly makes in the future, unless we revoke it, which is my understanding, we don't have to follow the state statute. We just have to have that's an option for us.
We can't be more strict than what the state statute allows. And as you said, it's not a short statute. There's a lot that goes into it. So I think it's the safest thing for the city to do to just make sure we are following state code. And, you know, as they update it, you know, I'll obviously be staying on top of that. And I'm not sure how it really harms us to be tied to that, because we're basically stuck with the standards that they will repeal, add, you know, you name it. We're not going to be able to do. We can do less. We can enforce less or lesser penalties or those types of things, but we're not going to be able to do more.
Zach, I have a question. How much of a difference do we currently have compared to the state statute?
There's quite a bit. I can't go into a ton of detail on that, but there's quite a few things in our current that don't line up.
The biggest issue is enforcement. We don't have any teeth. So,
And this would give us.
So if we update this today, and let's say in July or June, the state updates, we'll have to come readdress this and update again?
We'll just always be tied to what they're doing.
We are incorporating that section.
What the
So-
state says.
So if they
Okay.
change anything, it's, you know, the 3679 is the unsafe building code. So if they change anything, that it will still be in that 3679. So regardless of how it is today or in the future, we are incorporating whatever that is in 3679.
So what we're basically saying is our ordinance is going to be mirroring the state.
Correct.
And if they change, we automatically change too.
Correct.
Okay.
And this is best practices from AIM and all other small rural main streets across the state.
I'd like to have more time to review. I guess I'm coming at it from the trust but verify standpoint. I trust Zach's advice 100%. But I feel like as elected officials, I have an obligation to know exactly what I'm talking about, and I haven't had time to read all of Indiana code. So I don't know if it goes back to committee or just tabled for 2 weeks. I would just like more time to review.
I guess my thinking on it is if the states come up with this program, how are we going to lose anything by going by what they say? Because eventually we're going to have to probably anyways. You know how that is. Today's one thing and tomorrow the state's going to say you must. So,
Well, I don't think we want to do anything less than what the state's doing, right? I mean, so we might as well follow what they're doing at this point.
If we vote on this today, you've got 2 weeks and we could table it in 2 weeks.
That's fair.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Moving on to reports, there's nothing from the mayor this week.
Nothing from me.
And then,
I didn't get a report from Jim.
yeah, he did not forward one, so nothing from Plan Commission. Moving on to committees.
Nothing for tax phase ins.
Yeah, Finance Committee meeting on April 9th in here from 9 to 11.
We're probably not, we shouldn't schedule an ordinance resolution committee without Jim being here.
Yeah, we'll email him.
Okay. We can get notice out if we schedule something.
Yep.
Okay.
Any unfinished business come before the council? Any new business? General good and welfare of the community. Next common council meeting is Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Now, you're going to see about Jen setting up a meeting before the next